Look around at a modern airport in 2026. You book your ticket through an app, scan your face to pass security, and step aboard a machine built from carbon fiber and ultra-strong titanium alloys. Aviation technology has evolved dramatically, hasn't it? And yet, there is one number that seems to have frozen for nearly 70 years. A number almost nobody notices. In 1958, the Boeing 707 officially carried humanity into the age of commercial jets. Was about 550 miles per hour, equivalent to 885 kilometers per hour. Today, look at the flight tracking screen on an Airbus. A 350 or a Boeing 787 worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That number still sits around 560 to 590 miles per hour. We have phones millions of times faster. We have rockets powerful enough to send spacecraft to other planets. And yet, your transatlantic flight still takes almost the same amount of time as it did when your grandparents traveled. So why, when everything else keeps advancing, has airplane speed seemingly stopped? Have we reached the limit of technology, or is there a more practical reason hiding behind the clouds? Welcome to Everyday Things Explained. The wall of air and the law of exponential growth. Usually, we think about speed like this. Want to go faster? Install a stronger engine and push the throttle. But an airplane does not run on a hard road. It moves through an ocean of air. Imagine running in a swimming pool. If you walk slowly, the water is only gentle pressure. But if you try to run fast, the water turns into a solid wall. Look at skydivers in free fall. At low speed, the wind feels light. But when they reach 200 kilometers per hour, the air presses so hard it completely distorts their faces. And here is the key point. Drag does not increase in a straight line. It increases exponentially. Want to fly twice as fast? Drag becomes 4 times greater. Fly 3 times as fast, drag becomes 9 times greater. In aviation, speed is a heavy tax. The faster you go, the more expensive the sky becomes. The speed tax and the economic equation. To pay that speed tax, a chain of economic consequences appears. Flying faster requires more thrust. The engines must become larger, more complex, and they consume fuel like monsters. Not only that, to withstand wind pressure, the aircraft body must be reinforced with expensive materials. High-intensity engines require constant maintenance. In the end, this enormous cost falls onto one thing: your ticket price. A commercial airplane is not a race plane. It is a flying business machine. It is useful only when it can fly again and again every day, carry hundreds of people on schedule, and do it at a fare the mass market can accept. The question is not whether it can fly faster. The question is flying faster worth the money? Fly too slowly and you lose time. You lose advantage. So engineers have to find one perfectly balanced number for cost. The secret on the wing, the transonic zone. When an aircraft approaches the speed of sound, around 1,235 kilometers per hour, physics changes the rules. At cruising altitude, airliners usually fly at Mach 0.85, meaning 85% of the speed of sound. Why that number? The secret lies on the wing. To create lift, the airflow over the top of the wing must move faster than the airflow underneath. Even when the aircraft body itself has not reached the speed of sound, the air rushing over the wing can already reach Mach 1. Imagine a crowd passing through a revolving door. Everything works smoothly until everyone starts running at once. Then the flow jams. When airflow becomes supersonic and then suddenly slows down, it creates a shock wave right on the wing. The smooth airflow turns chaotic. Drag rises violently. The aircraft begins to shake. Mach 0.85 is the sweet spot, the safety threshold before shock waves begin to damage the flight. Concorde the dream and the harsh reality. But there was a time when the world refused that limit. We built Concorde, a technological wonder that flew twice the speed of sound. It carried passengers from London to New York in under 3.5 hours. It proved that commercial supersonic flight was possible. But it also exposed the price of impatience. Concorde burned a massive amount of fuel, carried fewer than 100 passengers, and had ticket prices only the super rich could afford. And beyond that, when it broke the speed of sound, it created a sonic boom. A giant pressure wave dragged along its flight path, strong enough to shatter windows in people's homes. That is why it was banned from flying supersonic over land. Concorde did not prove that supersonic flight was impossible. It proved that the economics failed. In 2003, it retired, closing the door on an incredibly expensive dream. Fast enough to become normal. Looking back through history, from military aircraft to Concorde, the technology to break speed barriers clearly exists. Fighter jets fly supersonic with ease, but they trade that speed for short range and terrifying maintenance costs. Commercial aircraft are different. They search for a long-term solution. The aircraft around you have not failed at becoming faster. In reality, they have solved a much harder problem: flying fast enough, far enough, with absolute safety, and cheaply enough for millions of people to take off every day. Commercial aviation is optimized for balance, a highly refined compromise between physics, money, the environment, and human life. Faster is not always better. Sometimes the peak of engineering is knowing exactly where to stop so everything can remain sustainable. The next time you look at the flight tracking screen and see 900 kilometers per hour, do not ask why it is not faster. Ask how many things that speed is keeping stable. The fastest option is not always the most optimal one. On your most recent flight, what was the speed? Would you be willing to pay 5 times more to arrive 2 hours earlier? Comment below. Luckily, checked baggage does not fly supersonic. Either way, it will still arrive after you. If this video helped you see the hidden wonders behind ordinary numbers, please like and subscribe to Everyday Things Explained. See you again in the next fascinating story.